Hello, I'm Alex from phpacademy.org, and this is a video for the new Boston. In the video we're going to be talking about PHP file handling. Now you can see at the moment I've created a single PHP file called file.php. I haven't named it index.php for the purpose of this tutorial, so we can keep a track of inside this directory. Now let's open up our text editor and we can start writing out in this file. Now PHP file handling is on the basis of first of all opening the file. Then what we do is we want to in this example I'm going to be writing data to a file, but you may want to read data in. So there are different attributes, if you like, you can give when you open the file. The first one is W, and this is for writing, so obviously it stands for writing. The second one is R, which is for reading, so reading. And the third one is A, which means append, or appending, depending on what you want, however you want to say it. So obviously the first one we're going to use which is W, we're going to use to be writing to a file. R, we're going to be reading from a file, and A, we're going to be appending to a file, so basically adding to a file. So let's get rid of this. Okay, so how do we start up? The first thing we need to do is create a handle which will open the file. Now, even if the file doesn't exist, you can see at the moment inside here, no other files except file.php exist. We create something called a handle which uses the fopen function to create the file, even if it doesn't exist. So the first argument we give it is the file name itself. Then we use a comma, and the second argument we give is whether we want to either write to the file, read from the file, or append to the file. So in this instance I want to write to the file, so I'm going to use W. I want to write to the file, and the file I'm going to call is going to be called names.txt. So it's a text file, so we can open it up and we can view it as a text. Okay, so now if we execute this PHP script, or if we run this PHP script rather, let's just refresh here and click on file.php. Nothing has happened as per yet. If we go back and refresh, you can see that a file has been created called names.txt, so we can click on it. There's nothing in it at the moment. So the next stage is to come down, and what we need to do is to write some data to the file. So we don't need to use a variable for this. We've already created our handle in a variable up here, and it's really important to create this as a variable because when we want to write to the file we need to address the handle. So I'm just going to type fwrite, use this function, and in the brackets I want to write first of all the handle, so I want to specify where I'm writing to. So I want to write to names.txt, and then I want to specify the data that I'm writing. So I'm just going to type in Alex. Now what this is going to do is we're going to obviously reiterate the code. This is going to run as well. It won't duplicate obviously the file, it will just create the same file, and it will write Alex to it. Now if we come in and refresh and click on file, if we go back and we click on names, you can see that Alex has been written. Now you may think, oh, now what we can do now is even if we change this, we want to say write Billy, because we've still got this write here, all it's going to do is it's going to reopen the file and it's going to write again. So unless we do something like the following, Billy like that, every time we're going to be opening the file. So now if we come back and click on file.php and we go back again to names, you can see that it's written two names now. Now say I want this on a line by line basis. How do I go about this? Now you need to append on it absolutely has to be double quotation marks, and you do a backslash and an N, and this creates a new line. So now let's go back, click on file.php again, click on names, and you can see that a new line exists between the end of this and the start of that. So it's written to a new line. So we can write as many names down this list as we want. So these are the basics of writing to a file with PHP. In some of the other lessons, we're going to learn how to read data from a file, and we can also mess around with showing it as array elements. So for example, Alex would be an element in an array and Billy would be an element in an array. Now one final note just before we end the tutorial is the importance of the fclose function, and you need to specify in here the file that you've already opened. So we've opened handle here. And closing the file just closes this connection with the file, so it doesn't remain open. So this is just close the file. We can echo after here, let's say written, and let's go back, click on file, written. We can go to names.txt. We can say that these two names have already been written. So in the next part of the file handling tutorials, we're going to learn how to read from a file. In fact, we could probably learn, beforehand you might need to think about how you want to append to a file. This is always going to open it and write the content here that, it's going to sort of create a new file. So even if names do exist within this, if I was to under here open the file again and rewrite some names, it would just erase everything. So I think in the next tutorial we can look at appending data to a file.